everyone, I'm Claire. I've been bullet journaling for about a year now, and this is a kickoff video, I guess, which is really weird because I did not expect this to be something that I ended up getting into, but here we are. So I bullet journal. I also do embroidery, and I do some gardening, and I do music. So I do a lot of things. But for this video, it's just going to be about bullet journaling, and this will be my 2021 layout, so everything that doesn't fit into a certain month category, with a brand new journal that I'm really excited about. So enjoy. Okay, so this is my brand new journal. I'm so excited about it. It's exactly the one I asked for, but I decided to use the first page as a quotes page because there's only one page, obviously, in the beginning of a journal on the left-hand side. And I really like to have spreads that are right next to each other, so I usually use this page as a quotes page in all of my journals. This particular quote says, "Breathe, darling, it's just a chapter, not your whole story." Which I think is a really good reminder for me because I tend to get very caught up in the little things, which I think is part of why I enjoy bullet journaling so much. But it's inconvenient in the real world. Okay, so this next page is basically a Happy New Year spread, which I know the New Year hasn't come yet, but I was doing it ahead of time because I like to stay on top of stuff. So this will say goodbye 2020, hello 2021, which I think we can all agree that 2020 has been an interesting year, to say the least. And I'm really looking forward to the new year, even though I honestly, 2020 could have been worse for me. But I'm definitely looking forward to the new year. I also always love the new year because it gives me an excuse to crack open a new journal, which is really fun. So I used blue and yellow for these because I thought they complemented each other nicely, one being a warm color and one being a cool color. Okay, so these spreads are going to be basically stuff to look into spreads. So the one that I'm working on right now is going to be musicals to listen to. I'm a huge theater nerd, and I absolutely love musicals. Like 90% of my music that I listen to is show tunes. So I'm really excited about this, and I tried to make the design look like a playbill, and I think it turned out pretty cute. Well, in my personal opinion, it did. It's good to keep a running list for me, because otherwise I'll forget. So this is a movies to watch spread, and I usually use these on family movie nights or whenever my family is trying to decide on a movie. And I really like these stuff to look into spreads because I have the memory of a goldfish, so it's nice to have it all laid out for me. And I tried to make this look like a board for a movie with a border, and I put in yellow dots later that were supposed to look like light bulbs, so you can't really see them on camera. And the reason I keep taking the pen off of the frame is because I was actively blending that ink, so it was a little bit time consuming for me. But I think the color turned out pretty nice. I could have standed for it to be a little bit more contrasting to the yellow, but I still like it a lot. And you'll see me, I pull out my black pen now, and I wrote coming soon to theaters because I thought it kind of fit with the vibes I was trying to go for this spread. Okay, so this is one of my favorite spreads to make and one of my favorite spreads to use. It's a books to read list. And so basically what I'm doing right now is I'm making it into a bookshelf. I do not have the gift of magically making straight lines, unlike some people, but I think you can't tell too much in the video, which is nice. So I just kind of filled this in, and this is going to look like a bookshelf once I'm finished with it. And I use this spread really frequently because I absolutely love to read, but I don't spend as much time on it as I like to. So my books to read list is a mile long, but I really like it. I was using my set of gel pens and brush pens for this. My brush pens are nothing fancy. They're some off-brand that I got off Amazon when I was first starting out, and I haven't really felt the need to expand since I have 36 colors. And I very much like them. I think they have served me very well, despite the fact that I have not taken as good care of them as I should. And my gel pen set was a birthday gift last year. And I think it lays everything out pretty nicely. It has a ton of colors as well, and I used varying colors for all the different books because I think it adds a nice element for them. So in between every about 9 books, I believe it was, I drew in what you're seeing now, which is little plants. As I mentioned in my intro, I really like to garden, especially succulents. And I really like to draw succulents. They turn out really cute, in my opinion. So I kind of used them as bookends to separate the different categories of books, really. And when I'm using this spread, I'll go through and fill out all of the titles of books that I have on my books to read list, and then I'll go back through and color them in once I've finished that book. Some major titles on my to read list right now are The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings series. I'm in the middle of The Hobbit and I am very much enjoying it. And then some lesser known fantasy books. I think The Cruel Prince and Four Dead Queens are both on my list, and I'm really excited about those because from what I've heard, they are very good. I also just finished the first 2 books of Claire Legren's Imperium trilogy, which are maybe some of my favorites that I've ever read. They were very, very good. So as you can tell, I use this spread a lot, and like I said before, it's one of my favorites to make. This is the 3rd time that I've drawn it out, and I keep making the spines bigger in the hopes I'll be able to write on them. Okay, so this next, I'm sorry for the shaking camera. This next spread is a podcast tracker. I use it to keep track of the episodes of podcasts that I've watched because I'm also an avid listener of those. So I tried to make the arch over the title look like headphones, and I think it turned out pretty nicely. The only title I have on there so far is Science Versus, but I love that podcast. Okay, so this is a spread for embroidery and video ideas. As I mentioned in my intro, I really like embroidery, and I think the way this lettering turned out is really cool. I think it looks kind of like stitching. It was a very time-consuming spread for me to make because the title is all in stitch lettering, and I had to make all my letters into little dashes. So it definitely took me a while, but I think it turned out really pretty. I really like the shade of purple that I used for it. It's one of 3 that came with my original kit, and it's one of my favorite colors to use. I used it in my quote page at the beginning because I think it turned out really pretty. I did a little bumblebee at the end of that dotted area, which you cannot really see him from the camera, but that's okay. And then the other spread was really simple. I just did a title block and wrote video ideas because I haven't done YouTube before, but I'm starting this year, obviously. Okay, so moving on from that, this is the last spread in my layout. This is my future log. So for my future log, I basically lay out mini calendars for the entire year, and I write basically events and stuff so that I can plan months in advance instead of just having the month to month. Because as much as I love bullet journaling, I know I tend to get caught up in one month or another, and it makes stuff kind of difficult when I have an assignment due on, say, the 3rd of November, and it's October 29th, but I haven't paid attention to it because it's in November. So I just colored blue over January because I'm going to go in and color in, like, my color theme for the month, which you haven't seen yet, but I absolutely love themes. They're, like, my favorite. I probably overuse them. But I guess that's a spoiler that January's color is going to be blue. And I will probably have some more of these colored in off camera because I already have some colors set. Like every year I do March for a purple theme. Because that's when I do March for a purple theme every year, and I usually do pink or yellow for June and blue or green for August. So I'll go in and color some of those since I basically already have them decided. But I'm didn't do that on camera because I was trying to get done with it. So for those of you who don't know what bullet journaling is, which I think is pretty unlikely, I think if you found this video, you probably know what bullet journaling is, but if you don't, it's basically like a build-it-yourself planner is the best way I've found to describe it to people. I use mine as a creative outlet as well as a planner, really. So the little those calendars, I will highlight days on them, and then in the space beneath the name of the month, I will fill that in with whatever's happening on that day. And it just kind of helps me keep track and gives me a visual to kind of use. So I will do this, which is my yearly spread, and then every month I will do a monthly spread as well. Oh, okay, so I put future ideas at the title of that, and it was supposed to be future log, so I had to go get a piece of paper from one of my old bullet journals and tape it over, which was a silly mistake to make, but that's okay. I fixed it, and I think it looks fine now. Yeah, this is a huge spread, so it took me quite a while to make. I believe in real time it was like almost an hour. I don't remember, but it was very, very time consuming for me. You'll see me take my hand off the frame a couple times in this video just to shake it because my hand was starting to cramp by the time I got to this part. I haven't been using future logs in the past. I don't know why. I didn't make one because when I originally started bullet journaling, I started in June, and it felt silly to make a future log for only half the year. So I really, really hope that I can keep up with it, because I know a lot of new spreads that I try, I end up not keeping up with, like habit trackers. I'm horrible at habit trackers. I'm going to put one in July anyway, but I'm not very good at keeping up with them. I meant January, not July. Okay, I'm really sorry. Okay, so as you can see, I'm almost done with this spread. I've gotten down to November, and I think this spread turned out really pretty. I think the font at the top is nice, and it's representative of the style that I sort of wanted my future log to keep with. I actually really like the way this turned out. It's really clean looking and very pleasing. Okay, that's all for this video. My next one will be my January 2021 plan with me. Wow, 2021. That's crazy. Okay, and that should be released today or tomorrow. Thanks to my sister for doing my hair and filming this for me and dealing with my phone because it's a trip. And we should be doing some duets in the future, so you guys will get to see her at some point. Okay, bye!